Wrong button. Good afternoon. I will call to order the December 19th meeting of the Oklahoma City Riverfront Redevelopment Authority. The first item is items from the chairman, and I don't have anything today. Item 3 is the meeting minutes from the November 21st meeting. Do we have any changes or corrections?
Second.
Cast your vote, and it passes unanimously. Item 4 is a consent docket to receive the oil and gas revenue report and to receive the Oklahoma River Corridor events update. Any questions on those?
Move approval of both items.
Second.
Cast your vote. It passes unanimously. Item 5 is the primary agenda items. Item A is to receive the river maintenance projects update.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, trustees. My name is Sam Slayton. I'm project manager for Department of Public Works. We've got 2 items on the agenda today. First is the MCO 532. That's our Oklahoma River Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System. We have updated the new emergency power supply at the Paul Brum Jr. Dam. The old unit was undersized and had been giving us trouble. This power supply supports the data transfer equipment to and from the city offices at 420 West Main back to Paul Brum Dam. It also acts as a secondary link from Eastern Avenue back to Paul Brum Dam. All the groundwater monitoring wells are being updated with new programming for higher up times. In other words, it gives us a faster rate of read on where our water levels are. These groundwater monitoring wells are stationed on both sides of the river from Eastern Avenue Dam to west of the May Avenue Dam. There's a total of 19 of these groundwater monitoring wells. Finally, on this part is we continued work on the river maintenance building on getting the security cameras functioning, and the magnetic door locking devices completed and made part of the city's network. The second item is the street traffic drainage maintenance activities, and between November the 9th of 2017 and December the 8th of 2017, river maintenance crews collected a total of 6 tons of floatable debris from the eastern and western basins. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions for Sam? Yeah, that is a lot.
Of styrofoam
Very good.
cups.
Do we go? I'm sorry. Do we go out there every day? I mean, have you got somebody out there?
They typically will drive the riverbank and
Yeah.
see what the condition is, and if there's a large enough collection of them, then they'll get a boat out on the water.
And I know it gets worse after we've had a rain or,
Right.
something, but
High winds tend to blow a lot into the river, and the high flow rain events bring a lot in from upstream. But a lot of it's blown in by Mother Nature.
it's a lot of trash.
Any other questions? Need a motion to receive the report?
Move the item.
Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Item B is to receive the Oklahoma City Riverfront Annual Financial Report for fiscal year ending June 13. The format is a little bit different this time. As I understand it, they've simplified it, or not simplified it, but it has changed to where it's more readable. Is that a better way to put it? And so it's submitted here. Just a reminder, this is for ending June of this year, so it wouldn't have anything after July 1 on it yet. So, and I think we've got somebody that's going to highlight maybe the changes on it for us.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Christy Jamison, and I'm an accounting manager for the Accounting Services Division for the city. And before I get into talking about the fiscal year 17 financials, I was going to talk just a little bit about the changes that we made to the interim reporting. So basically, over the past year, the Accounting Services Division has worked with the various trusts to talk about really focus on the value and the quality of the financial statements we're preparing and what is useful to the boards. And some of the feedback we received was that the financial statements that are based on generally accepted accounting principles, while they provide more of a long-term planning tool, that on an interim basis, there were other formats that were more useful to run the day-to-day operations. And so beginning with fiscal year 18, we had worked with David Birch to come up with a reporting format, and we changed the schedule to be, the timing is not only from a bi-monthly reporting to a quarterly reporting, and then also we changed the schedule to be a schedule of cash receipts and disbursements, so that you can see the cash coming in and out of the authority, and as well as provide a projection of estimated revenues and expenses through the end of the year. And this also helped to see what the projected ending cash balance was going to be at the end of the year. In addition to that, we also added on the schedule the endowment fund balance that's held at the Oklahoma City Community Foundation to provide that information as well on the face of the schedule. As far as the annual financial statements that are based on generally accepted accounting principles, those are still going to be prepared every June 30th, and a presentation will be made to the board once the final audited financial statements are available. And those are the financial statements that are on the agenda today, are the fiscal year 17 financial statements. These have been audited by AGH, which is out of Wichita, Kansas, and AGH provided an unmodified opinion, which basically means it was a clean audit and that there were no deficiencies in internal control identified. To just kind of give some of the highlights, net position for the authority decreased $137,000 during 2017, and that was primarily due to assets decreased $145,000. $69,000 of this was due to a decrease in cash and investments, and the other $79,000 was due to a decrease in capital assets, basically due to normal depreciation. And then also current liabilities did decrease $8,000 over the prior year, but that was basically due to there were no outstanding vendor payments as of June 30th. General revenues for the trust decreased approximately $2,000 from the prior year. That's made up of several items. Oil and gas royalties increased $6,000 over the prior years. We're seeing oil and gas prices increase slightly. Sand mining revenue decreased $1,000, and that's a little misleading because the revenue that was received in the prior year was back in September of 2015. That was the last payment. And then also in 2016, there was a one-time revocable easement payment that was received in the amount of $7,000 that did not reoccur in 2017. Lease revenues increased approximately $3,000 from the prior year. This was made up primarily for the new lease that was entered into with the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation. In April of 2016, we saw a full year of lease revenues from that lease in 2017 of approximately $950. And then we actually did receive lease payments on the Epic paintball lease as well in 2017 of approximately $1,500. There is an anticipation that lease revenues are going to be higher in fiscal year 18, and that's due to the new Lost Lakes development lease, and we actually have received the first payment in November in the amount of $6,090. Expenses decreased $104,000 from 2016, made up of consultant services decreased approximately $72,000. And advertising expenses decreased $25,000 due to the holiday parade not held in fiscal year 17. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Very good. We need a motion to receive that.
Thank you.
Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Item C is to receive the revocable permit with Oklahoma City Events and Entertainment for the Holiday River Parade, which happened last Saturday. Got some comments from Mike that it seemed to go very well. Crowd was big and weather wasn't all that bad, so it seemed to have a successful event. So, yeah, I think the comments are. So, and just as a reminder, we're doing this because of the timing of when it had to happen. So, I need a motion to receive that.
So moved.
Cast your vote. It passes unanimously. Item D is an MOU among the Oklahoma City Riverfront Authority and the Boathouse Foundation for use and maintenance of property obtained by the Boathouse Foundation through a tobacco settlement endowment trust grant and transferred to the city. It's my understanding that the Boathouse Foundation applied in 2014 for a grant to purchase equipment, basically fitness type equipment under their proposal. And at this point in time, the grant is over with. The state needed a place to transfer that to, and they're asking for the city. Doug, were you prepared to make some comments on it, or am I doing okay? The Boathouse Foundation has asked for the city to accept that transfer from the state of all of this equipment, and it will become basically the same agreement we have on the race course starting system, to where the Boathouse Foundation is responsible for the maintenance and upkeep and storage and all of it, and providing an annual inventory of it, and following Oklahoma City rules should they want to obsolete any of that equipment at some point in time. So that's what you have in front of you. Did I leave anything out? Okay. Do we have any questions on it? Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, item E is the revised Oklahoma City Redevelopment Authority rules, regulations, and guidelines for the river. And give you just a little bit of background on this, or a little bit of calendar work here. It's going to be introduced today, and you'll have them in front of you. We'll vote on them in January's meeting. Prior to January's meeting, our River Use Committee will meet and go over these and make sure that they are okay with them too. So if you have any concerns or questions or comments on it, if you'll get them to Kathy for the River Use Committee to do in their committee meeting, and then you can also bring it up in our meeting next month, where it will be voted on at that point in time. Just as a side note to that, in the item that you have in the packet, the proposed new rules take the first 14 or so pages of it. The rest of the packet is the 2010 rules and regulations, and you see how thick that was. So just as a summary, I would say that what the staff has done is taken a lot of things out of our old rules that sit somewhere else in city codes or ordinances or permit fees or whatever it may be, and simply reference those in our document so that people can go to those and look at them to see what it is, and if those change, then it automatically changes in ours. And that's what has condensed this quite a bit. So if you have questions right now, we'll certainly address those, but again, you've got a month to look at them too. So, Marcia, did I summarize that? Okay. Always got to make sure legal's okay with what you say. Any questions on it so far? Okay. Then I think we need a motion to receive these revised for study.
Introduce them and set them for final.
Okay, so the motion is to introduce these to be voted on next month.
So move.
Cast your vote, and it passes unanimously. Item 6 is the claims docket. We do have a couple of claims. Any questions? Motion to pay claims? Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Item 7 is additional items. You have the Park and Rec Departmental Director report in your packet. Anything other than what they got here, Doug, you want to comment on?
No, sir. I'd like the report received. I just want to officially commend David Birch and Marcia for the hard work they worked on over the last almost 2 years on trying to get all those documents concised into what you will be looking at over the next month for your vote in January. One of the other things that is coming from that isn't highlighted in my report is the fact that currently there are 16 zones of the river that you can 16 different groups can get a revocable permit on any given day, which could be arduous in our managing those type of activities. David Birch took the initiative to take a look at that and work with Marcia to consolidate those 16 zones into 3 zones, which will make it easier for us to work with promoters to do activities on the river, so we don't end up with overlaps or complications or duplications of events. So I think that's the most important things that I wanted to present today was David and Marcia did a yeoman's work on getting that document. And once you've approved that, then we will be looking at the fee structures that you have in place for the use of the river properties, and we will be bringing that back later in 2018, probably March, April, somewhere in that time frame to bring back some ideas for revising our fee structure as well. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, but recommend that it be received as written.
Just a quick question, to make sure I'm clear. The item where Lost Lakes submitted their first revenue sharing amount, that went into, that'll be a revenue coming into the River Trust. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions for Doug? Motion to receive his report. Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Any comments by trustees? Yes. And a happy holidays. Any comments by citizens? Okay, we are adjourned.